Sorry, my cat's been biting me
Unravel.
lately, so...
I can't afford to buy a boat.
You know what they used to call me in the Army, right?
Mr. Fishin'
That's
Low.
right, that's right. No matter what the resources, I would make it work. You got it.
Welcome to your worst nightmare.
It's Mom. I think this place is like starting to get to her. You've been going out there for weeks now. You're not seeing what's happening here.
Help your mom get everybody secured, tucked away. And when I get home tonight, we will talk. I promise.
The only way for us to go home is to wake everyone up.
Stop! I found something. Something I think is going to help us.
Mom!
No!
We have to go.
Go where? Where are we going?
You go first. I'll follow you down.
We need to get to town.
No, we have to go to the tree. You have to get inside.
The tree? No!
You'll be safe.
What?
Go, go!
No, wait!
Find your brother. I'll be right behind.
You went through a faraway tree.
Honey. What's going on? What's happening?
We're digging a big hole in the basement. We're gonna find out where the electricity comes from.
Is anybody out there? All I got was some static, but it worked. I think if we get it up over the tree line and we get it enough power, I think we could get a signal out.
How do you propose we get up over the tree line?
We start by going to the high ground.
If these voices are real, if something here is communicating with you, then that means you're connected to this place in a way that no one else here is. But we need proof. What is this?
They said they watched you bury the bag, and that this is proof that they're real.
I have Sara tied up in the basement of the church.
Tell me you're joking.
That girl may be the key to unlocking all this. That girl may be the way we all go home.
Let's take a walk.
Where are we going?
Find our way home.
Okay, well, welcome to the final edition of From the Throw the Spaghetti at the Wall final episode.
No, this is episode 9. Remember?
Yeah, this is the final episode. Yeah.
No, this is the penultimate episode.
Is there another episode?
Yeah, there's episode 10. We're doing 9, and then we're gonna record 10.
Oh, you know what? I am ahead of the game, and I am so sorry. My everything else still sticks, though. This is definitely a spaghetti at the wall series. They are just throwing everything at us, and some stuff seems to stick, and then some stuff seems to sort of slide off. And man, I don't know about you, but I am so confused about what is going on. So let's talk about what happened in this episode. I am joined by Kinte. Kinte, hi, how are you?
I'm doing amazing, and I am very excited to talk about episode 9.
So let's get right into it. Give me some thoughts. What did you think about this episode altogether?
I'll be honest with you. I wasn't in love with the episode. It was what I was hoping for a little bit more, and I mean there was some good moments in there, but overall I really felt like it was lacking. I wish.
Yeah. I feel like a little bit of timing was maybe off in this episode.
Right.
Some things kind of dragged a bit, and then there's some other things that are like, okay, we get it, right? Again, this is oh boy. Okay, I'm going to collect my thoughts here, and I'm going to say this, and tell me if you think that this is way off base, or if you agree, or if you have your own thoughts about it.
Okay.
I feel like the problem with making a show like this is not that your audiences won't want to be eager to find out what's going on, because I was. I was hanging on every little thing, looking for symbols, I was super into it. And now it's episode 9, and I am not so in love with everything that's going on. In fact, I feel like they are kind of beating me over the head with a bunch of inane details that I cannot decide whether I should pay attention to or not pay attention to. And the problem with that is that if you want me to stay involved and connected to the story, then you have to give me something, right? You have to give me some clues so that I can keep going. And I feel like the, it's not just that we don't get any clues, it's that every clue always seems important, and that's a problem. So tell me, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I hate to say it, but I just feel like it needed to jump a little bit more than it has, and it hasn't jumped enough for me to go, okay, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I'm here with you.
Yep.
Uh, I don't know. It's disappointing.
I think there's a way that the storytelling is going, which maybe on paper and in a book would have been fabulous. I mean, like, I can imagine myself reading this and being just absolutely enthralled. But the advantage to reading a story like this is that I'd get inner monologue and hopefully the kind of storytelling pieces that sort of come from outside of the world, right? Your third person perspective, which is the God perspective. I'm looking down on everything, and so I can tell you what little things might be important, maybe not, but at least you kind of get them in context. Here, everything feels like it is out of context. And listen, maybe this is intentional. I feel like it's possible that it is intentional, but they are doing something that is detrimental. And listen, if I'm a fan, I'm a fan. I'm going to stay with it. I love it. I will really go to the ends of the earth to find reasoning to make it work. And in this case, I'm losing reasons to be invested. Okay, you showed me characters. I loved them. I want to be involved in who they are, but show me how they're connected to the story in a way that isn't rambling, because that's what I feel like we're doing right now. We're rambling, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, in terms of the events of this episode, yeah, there was some stuff that moved the story forward, but the question to me is, where are we going? So let me ask you, what is it that you think that where do you ultimately think we're heading?
Honestly, I have no freaking clue. Uh, and it kind of concerns me.
Mm.
Like sometimes I love that feeling, of, oh wow, I have no idea where this is going, and this is awesome. But I, with this is a little concern more so than awesomeness.
Um, I feel like the stakes aren't high enough in this episode. And
Uh-huh.
I'm not saying that people don't feel like, or it doesn't feel like people are in mortal danger, because we've already established that they're always in mortal danger. But
Right.
each individual story arc feels like it's not in danger. It feel why in episode 9 are we still just now exploring more of the relationship between the characters? Why are we like, some things just don't feel like they've been timed properly. And so at this point it feels like everything is being done to the detriment of the main story, which is this really meaty drama that could be awesome. And instead, I just feel like, wow, it's just a little bit lackluster. There's, what's left here. And I'm going to make a comparison here, because I don't, I'm not saying that like this is an Epic's problem, but this is definitely a problem that the shows on Epic seem to have at this moment. I watched a series before this called Chapelwaite, which is the prequel to Salem's Lot, so the Stephen King story, right? And it's got a great cast. It's got Adrian Brody in it. The Everything is phenomenal in that whole retelling. But there are episodes in that season that just feel like your nails are scraping on chalkboard because it's not the good kind of, oh, everything is discordant. It's the, we have no idea what is going on here. Why are you even showing this to us? Like, there has to be better setup. And that's what I feel like we're missing. So I get, we want a big drama and we want a big reveal, but I mean, where do you think, okay, let me ask you this.
Okay.
where do you think where do you think the characters from at this point can possibly go? I mean, we've established that we've got these core characters and we know that nobody is actually safe, right? Because they killed Father Kotri. I mean, it feels like, okay, nobody's actually safe. Anybody could die.
Right.
But we also have this like running sort of almost, theme that there are some characters that feel like they are safe from harm. There are real central characters. Where do you think they're going? Do you think that there is like, are you feeling like there is a possible outcome for these guys that is going to make sense by the finale?
Your guess is good as mine. I honestly, I hate to give answers like this because, I think people they tune into our shows and they're looking for, us to do it. But honestly, I don't know. I was very excited. Like, I was very excited for this finale.
Right.
I mean, not finale. We're not at the finale yet. My bad. Um, I was very excited about, as you knew from when listening to me talk about um, the show, right? I was on board.
Right.
Sign me up. And then this this episode happened, and I was a little disappointed because we even talked about the penultimate episode sometimes
That's right.
is almost like the finale, right? We had the whole conversation about it, so we were like, well, which one is going to be it? And then sticking to this episode, um, I don't think it had enough weight, gravitas, to get us to the finale.
So I'm going to throw something in there. So I think that what they were trying to do, and look, I'm not on the writing team, so, and I have not,
Right.
God forbid, nobody's ever actually asked my opinion on this, but let me tell you what I think.
Right.
So, so one of the things that happens in this episode is there's suicide,
Right.
and that is sort of a central piece to break up, if you will,
Right.
what's happening, because that person, now they're all working on collecting all the wire that they possibly can to build this radio tower, and they've got everybody working basically on collecting lumber, and okay, and then Donna loses it. She loses it, I think, and it's understandable if you really go back and think about who she is as a character. She's falling apart because she realizes that this is futile, and she's tired of pinning hopes on things that have no hope. And so, much like the suicide, she, although clearly she's not ready to, leave the world, she just there is something really overwhelmingly sad and angry about Donna. And I totally understand that. And that feels like that should have been the gravitas of the episode, but it wasn't, because instead of making that a core tenant of the whole episode, hey, we got to take a break, we have to bury this person, we need to have the characters reflect a little bit about the hopelessness of the situation and that they are trying to create hope out of nothing. Instead of that, it feels way more procedural, and so we lose the emotion. We even lose the connection of the emotion that Donna has to give to us. And that's where I feel like things really went off the rail, because Boyd and Sarah in the forest, I mean, whatever was happening out there, it's not good. There's something clearly, maybe even more maleficent out there. And that's huge. That's absolutely huge. But even that is sort of overpowered by the lackluster back and forth of, okay, well, is Sarah going to survive? Well, of course she's going to survive. And then the idea that I don't know, it just feels like they are trying to create too much normalcy out of the abnormal and not allowing us as the audience to feel like, no, this is too crazy. This is just so crazy. And it's weird because I don't remember having this very same kind of idea in Lost, but feeling like this in Lost, right? You know what I mean?
Right, I know exactly what you're saying.
So, okay, let me ask you this question then. What moments in this episode stood out to you as, hey, this is sort of an inflection point. Here's some important pieces to go through.
Well, the suicide, I've definitely. I feel like that was a good kind of background tapestry, if you will,
Hmm.
of what was going on in the episode. Like I thought that was I thought that was good. I mean, obviously, suicide is very sad. Um, so that's dark subject matter, right?
Right.
So I thought that was good. I thought that was a good place to start. But I don't know. It it just was. I don't know. The overall, it was just weak. You
And
know.
then we still have, after all these years, we still have the interpersonal relationships happening that feel like, um despite the fact that I don't know, it just, I guess the timing sequence feels like it's just off, because we as the audience come in all at the same time, but these people have all come in at different times to the setting, and because of that we don't know how long, or we don't know like how well things have been established. So when Kristi is talking about how she felt about the, and I'm so sorry that I don't remember his name, but the person that committed suicide, um it, of course, I mean, that to me feels like, yeah, that's a good moment to sort of extrapolate on, but instead she makes it um about the sheriff, I mean about the deputy, and then it stops being important to me because because there is no explanation then, which I feel like we get a little bit later, about her inner conflict about leaving her partner and thinking about doing something different. Like, it's just, there are timing issues in this that just don't, however they put this all together, I feel like they edited it out of a kind of continuity stream that would have worked if it had been cobbled together a little bit differently, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Um okay, so let's talk about Boyd and Sarah. Boyd and Sarah are out in the forest. What did you think about what was happening out there?
Uh, it was uneventful. I mean, you
Well,
know.
the thing in the tent happened.
Well, I mean, okay, at the very end, yes.
That was not
Uh,
uneventful.
yeah, but I'm talking about to get us there. To get us there to the
Yeah.
very end. I don't think that the um, the momentum, because I think a lot of this stuff is about momentum, right? And I just don't think that the momentum that uh, was all that awesome, to get us to that point in the episode. I mean, that was a pretty cool ending to the episode, right? But
Right.
yeah,
So, one of my favorite stories, which is no surprise to anybody, is The Lord of the Rings, right? And
okay,
it actually is about a couple of people who, I mean, there's other stuff that happens too, but
right,
central theme, couple of people are walking from one place to another. And I love that. I mean, it is not the walking around and talking thing that is the problem. It's what they're saying. It's how they are conveying the importance of what's happening. Boyd, to me, at this point, feels very much like he is. I mean, he might as well go apply for a job at the International House of Pancakes with the amount of time that he waffles. At sometimes he's super serious, and then other times it sounds like he's just being flippant. And I don't understand what is it that he thinks he's going to get out of Sarah. Is it something that Father Kotri said? Is it something that he just innately kind of feels? I don't get it. I don't feel like I have that connection. And then there's Sarah. And listen, this is no I'm not trying to harsh the job that the actress did, but that
Okay.
character is so whiny that I I I
She's
really
annoying.
I cringe when she is on screen. And I don't think it's not the actress. It is definitely the character. The character is just written. Yes, so annoying. I'm glad I'm not the only one that thought about that.
Yeah, I can't. I can't with her. Yeah. I mean, I mean, it's not even just what it's not even just what the character has done negatively to the group. It's just
Yeah,
if you erase all of that, just her character is annoying. And I
it,
feel, sometimes I feel bad for actresses or actors because they may be really talented, but sometimes their characters are just not likable, and no fault of their own, but it's just kind of what it is.
well, I think okay. So there's a lot of ways to do this, right? They didn't want to villainize Sarah and make her into a real villain because that would have defeated the purpose of the Sarah character. I get that. But there does come a time when I feel like they could have raised the stakes a little bit with Sarah and gave her the ability to take a little bit more agency over herself. And that's where I'm having a problem. She doesn't seem to have any agency over herself. And listen, I get that she is like some kind of medium for whatever is happening here. I totally get that. But that's got to be balanced with she has some agency over herself. Otherwise it feels like she's just a puppet. Otherwise it doesn't feel like we are watching anything truly important happening other than just a puppet performing for us. And that I don't think is what was intended. But Boyd's reaction to her also feels like it is just all over the map. I, I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't understand what she's supposed to do or how. I mean, I get why Father Kotri may think that she can help, but it's not clear yet on how that can be achieved, and they're not really doing a great job. I mean, I understand we're gonna find out when we find out, but I I don't know, man. I honestly, um, I feel like the last. Well, we're just gonna focus on this episode. That this episode it was okay. This is my issue with this episode is
Go for it.
the show's been going slow, right?
Right.
And there's been some moments, right?
Yep.
And
Good moments.
the idea in our head is that okay, this is going somewhere, so like in the end, it's gonna pay off, right? And it's gonna be awesome, right? The problem with
Right.
this episode was they set it up, but it just felt like another episode. It didn't feel like the stakes were high. It didn't feel like I mean
Right.
they kind of did with the tower to a certain degree, but it wasn't the stakes weren't high enough. They weren't,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
and then to go into the finale, you need to feel like, oh wow, like you really are pushing towards something amazing. And the problem was, and since we're talking about Boyd and Sarah, you have, the tent scene was interesting, but then, that was a little, that's really weak too. So I don't know, man. It's like I don't hate, like I haven't. I'm still interested in what's going on in the show, but I'm just a little
Hmm.
disappointed that, I don't know if it was a budget issue or what, but it seemed kind of small for, I feel like we've had small the whole season. This is when you go big.
Yeah, and you know, I don't, man. I wish I could say that like I thought it was some kind of constraint like that, but I don't think that's what it is. I think honestly that all the pieces are there, but the way that they are telling the story, the way that they are editing it all together, the way that they are stressing certain things at certain times is making it really difficult to understand what is happening here. And if I could sort of back up a little bit, um, one of the things that a lot of series, especially series that work in horror and supernatural suspense, one of the things that you do is you don't necessarily tip your hand too early because you want people to be invested in what is going to come next. So you lead people on and maybe you even, bring them like around a corner and show them a red herring and but you always bring them back to central point because you have to, otherwise they won't know what's going on. And I know this is a really bad metaphor, but honestly I feel like I am traveling around and around and around and around and around the town just like the people are. And I shouldn't be feeling that way because I'm the audience. I'm not a character. You don't, as a writer, as a writer, you shouldn't be making your audiences feel like they are stuck. You have to give your audiences that little gleam of something that the characters aren't seeing, and you're special because you get to see it. Like there is something that is just elementally missing out of this, and it's that little spark of magic that takes a good story to a great story because of the way that it's told. And again, I feel like they have all of the elements. I don't even really care that everything is sort of, low budget and not, I don't even, that doesn't bother me at all. What bothers me is the out of time and sync feeling that I get continually about not understanding the directions that everyone is going in. And why does it matter? Why does it matter that, because I keep going back to this,
Hmm.
why does it matter
What can
that,
can I? Oh, go ahead. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
well,
No.
I was just going to say, like, all of the interpersonal relationships that we're learning don't seem to make any difference at all. They have no effect on the plot. The plot is just unfolding whether the characters want to be a part of it or not. It's just happening. And that bugs the heck out of me. Why show us all the rest of this stuff then? I mean, really? Just to fill time? I don't, that part just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, no. What I was suggesting is, I feel like a lot of what we're touching on is finale two. Because we're recording this after the finale. We viewed the finale.
Oh no, I have a whole different take on the finale. I mean, honestly, I have a whole different take.
No, so what I'm suggesting is maybe we should. I feel like we've covered everything because there was very little to cover in
Right.
this episode. Maybe we should just go ahead and close this episode out and go to the finale, because I feel like because a lot of the things that I want to say, I would like to more or less say for the finale.
For the finale.
But
Okay,
but
so
go ahead.
well, I'm gonna say sure. Let's go ahead and do that. There is one thing that I do want to touch on,
Okay.
and that is this idea that we are telling a story inside of a story, and I think that this is important. I I I, I mean, like, this is not a new trope, but it's definitely, I think, an essential trope. Don't forget that Victor's pictures are it's very essentially important to what's going on here, as are Ethan's storytelling capacity for making up the monsters and basically being able to narrate this. There is something about that that is important, and we see a little piece of that in this episode where he's going through the pictures and he's trying to put the pictures in the order that they would go. And so I didn't want to lose sight of that, because I do think that that's one of the facets that I think could have been amazing and didn't quite make it. But I did really like that shout out. It was a good shout out.
Yeah, I agree with that as well.
Well, let's wrap this part up then, and we'll move into the finale, and we'll have a deeper discussion about the whole series as it sort of stands, and what happened in the finale. So I guess let's just tell each other how we can find on social media our presence, and then we'll move into the finale.
Sure. You can get me at Kinte F on Twitter. Hold on a second. Kinte F on Twitter. Kinte Ferguson, Fergerson on Instagram. And of course, the website is theindyradio.com. That's the indyradio.com. And how can they get you, Jen?
People can find me at moviesandmeals.com, and also do another couple of podcasts, including one called Pilot Series, which is actually really fun to do. And then the Thursday nights, we also do one that's called the Movie Potluck. Everybody brings a movie and some food, and we have a really good time discussing it. So that's
And what is there one tonight?
There is one tonight. It is on the importance of social change, movies that created social change.
Okay. All right. All right. So we'll see you guys.